Oh, hello, Internet. Welcome back to the TapStream podcast. This is episode 10, and I do want to thank you for tuning in and listening. This is going to be a very different episode. So, normally, what I've been doing is talking about what I've been playing, what I've been watching, any kind of stream updates. I haven't really been playing. Well, I mean, I've played Super Meat Boy and I beat it. There's not a lot that I can discuss about it. It was a really fun game. There's nothing that I've been watching other than True Detective, which is still midway through the season, and I highly recommend it, but also very hard for me to get into just because of the spoilery nature of the show. So I didn't really feel like there was too much meat to talk about this week. So I reached out to a good friend of mine by the name of GamerSmack, and we recorded a little interview together. It was intended to be just a short, like 15 to 20 minute thing to tag on to the end of what I thought would be a very bare bones update. But we ended up going for about an hour, and it was just really fun. And I think you guys might like that a little bit more. So just to set the scene, this is a good friend of mine by the name of GamerSmack. He streams over on Twitch, twitch.tv/GamerSmack. And there you go. You'll find out the rest from there. Enjoy, and thank you so much for listening. I'll do my whole ending spiel on the other side of this interview.
Dude, you pee like a fucking machine.
What does that mean?
Because you said go get water or something. I go get water and all that. I come back and you're already called. Like, how fast did you pee? Like, you just open a tank and just all flooded out, and then you're like, okay, close lid, done.
Well, now I'm very self-conscious about how quick I pee. And this, I'm going to be completely honest, I totally already started recording because I wanted to do a test audio to make sure that everything sounded fine. Fuck it. I don't care if you're louder than me. That is the greatest cold open that I have ever heard. We are making podcast history right now. So for those who don't know what's going on, I have messaged GamerSmack at 11:43 p.m. my time. You live in Australia. What time is it for you?
4:43 p.m. Sunday?
Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
Who won the Super Bowl?
Let me...
I was totally ready to ride that awkward silence as long as it could. Regardless, it is 11:43 p.m. where I'm living right now, and I messaged GamerSmack out of the blue, and I said, let's record a podcast. I am 2 glasses of whiskey in. I have just poured my 3rd one, and so we have no plan for what we're going to talk about. See?
The Rams. No, Patriots.
The Patriots are going to win. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go with the Patriots?
Because that's a team I support because everyone hates them.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Everyone hates them because they're that good. Or they're really good. They're like ungodly good, so therefore people hate them. And that's more reason. Because it's like me. People hate me because I'm ungodly good somehow.
That was very confident. That was very confident on the tail end of that. Who hates you? Like, give me. Unless it's going to give you in some trouble. Like, name one person who hates you.
TheTapStream.
You goddamn right. Oh no! Just to give context again, I'm going to assume that the people that are listening to this are not familiar with either of us. I go by TheTapStream. I stream on Mixer. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm GamerSmack. I stream on Twitch.
Nice. What'd you do today?
What did I do? I woke up, I played Warframe with Suki.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on a bit of graphics, which I know a lot of people say, oh, graphics don't matter, because when you go in a stream, they look at your graphics for what? Maybe a second or 2?
Mm-hmm.
They quickly look at, but then they go back to stream, and then you make what you put out there. They make the decision, yes, I'll watch this, or no. They don't look at your graphics like, nah, bad graphics, I'm out.
Right.
For me, it's a mental, like if the desk is tidy, it's a good atmosphere. But so therefore the graphics have to look good. They'll put me in a good mood, therefore good stream.
Yeah, you create the overall experience, and then it makes you feel better, you output better, and that retains better. I get it. How's it coming along? How long have you been investing your time in doing that?
I've been thinking, I'm someone who plans way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm writing it down, all these ideas. But I've actually been working on it for, I don't know, it's 3 days. But I've had a discussion with someone. I'm someone who, I'll spend 6 months planning something when if I just went ahead and did it without planning, It would only take me 2 months. So, way too much.
Well, at least you're organized. I I wonder, and this thought just came to my head. I wonder how many people legitimately think we annoy each other. Because would you say that we put on a scathing front?
I reckon we put. I don't know how to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people who never met either of us, like they know you or me, and the other comes involved. Okay. I feel like they do they.
I'm going to put a pin in it real quick because I want to say this. Your channel might be the only channel that I am actively an utter dickhead. I am actively being a dickhead. Because you, for those that don't know, you stream Warframe pretty exclusively. And so every time I go in there, I have been on the record of having no interest in playing Warframe whatsoever. And it's nothing against the game itself. I mean, they're great studio, great company. They're working on the game. It just doesn't interest me personally. So I always just like teasing you because I like teasing you. But every time I go into your stream, you're playing Warframe. I'm like, oh, is this Halo? Is this Destiny? Or I just I will do some bullshit like that.
I still remember that tweet about me finally getting Sarin Prime, and you told me, I was like, did you get that with Amazon Prime? God damn it, Trey.
I was so proud of that tweet.
I was so close to just unfollow. I'm done. I'm done. That was just no. God damn it.
So, to give some context to this, since GamerSmack is primarily a dedicated Warframe streamer over on Twitch, often whenever he will tweet out about Warframe, I have made it my life's goal to find a way to just turn it around to the point I think you tweeted something out about the game being too bright, and you're like, oh, dear Warframe, how do I change this? It looks like this is just too bright and I don't see any settings. And I just responded, I would try closing my eyes.
I remember that as well. Because, yeah, there was a light, and it just, the shine was way, too much. Mm-hmm. And it was giving me a headache. And I was going through the options. I'm clicking off on nothing's changed. I'm like, what? I was like, you know what? Here, I'll contact them. I'll get some help. And then you tweeted that, and then someone replied pretty much agreeing with you. I'm like, don't encourage him. It's just going to continue.
I think, I don't know if it was that particular tweet, but I remember there was one time where Ajax, a good friend of ours, Jolteon, another good friend of ours, and one more person who escapes me all jumped in on my shit posting, and it made me laugh. Oh my god, nothing gives me better joy than to mess with your tweets. But do you remember the one you did to me? Because I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was brilliant. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, you said, I remember because you tweeted something and I got something about metal, and I'm like, actually, now I started talking about coal and the strength of it, and I got very technical on you. Because
I remember texting you. I was so proud of it that I texted you because I didn't want to admit defeat publicly. I texted you and I go, I will never top that tweet. All my shit posting against you, I will never. I wish we could remember what it was, because for an audio only format, that's not doing the story justice. But I wish I knew what it was.
I'm scrolling down through Twitter really fast.
Okay.
Looking for the TheTapStream.
Go for it.
Actually, if I do this,
I'll go. Well, you do that. I'm going to go ahead and vamp because I want to keep setting the stage for our friendship even more. The very first time that I ever remember meeting GamerSmack was when I was still on Twitch, and I was doing a multi-stream with a good friend of ours, Careless Rex. We were playing Portal 2. At the time, I think they had just rolled out the ability for partners to have check marks next to their name. Is this correct?
Yes.
So, in comes GamerSmack, and he's hanging out, and me, not knowing who he was, I was like, oh man, this big dude, big deal. I gotta make sure everything's great. And I was singing at the time because that's what I normally do. And I got really self-conscious about it. And I was like, okay, well, never mind. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And you just said to me, which I think is the perfect start to our friendship, did I give you permission to fucking stop?
And now every time it's just the opposite. Just stop singing. Just stop.
You didn't know what you were walking into.
stuff, really nice. Like, hey, this guy's really, he's cool,
Mm-hmm.
And then just turn it all around. It's like it's too far. You can't. Our friendship's already built. You can't take it back.
You gave me an inch and I went to the fucking moon. Did you find that tweet that we were talking about or no?
I found a lot of ones, but not the one in particular. I just looked up your name.
Yeah. Knowing you, I mean, as nitty gritty as you get with all your research, I wouldn't imagine that you have a bot that just sorts and categorizes everything. Because you built your own custom bot because you were bored.
I mean, why not? I mean, I'm still learning it, but...
Yeah, well, everybody's still learning till they die. That's the whiskey talking.
Georgie, don't encourage him. What was this?
Uh-oh, I think we may have found it.
Oh, the Nix Prime, and then you go, how fast is that delivery service? Can I get a Twitch sub with it? And then I responded with a GIF saying, what the hell are you talking about? You're not making any sense. And then Jolty responded with a GIF of two people shoveling money into a furnace. Like,
which, honestly, thinking back on that, I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't know, but it's encouraging you, and I'm not for that.
Yeah, if anything, we've learned to put each other down.
Hey, our friendship is while we're on our feet, kick them. But the second they fall down, help them get back up just so we can continue kicking.
That's actually perfect. I think, let me see if I can remember this because I'm a little buzzed. But I think the best way that I've ever described our friendship was something like, our hatred for each other is only outmatched by our desire to gain the other's respect. Yeah. Would you say that's fair?
That's 100% spot on.
So I told you what my first memory of you being in my chat, because obviously that was the first time we ever connected. Like, that was the first time we knew of each other's existence. Do you remember the first time I was in your chat?
I don't remember the first time you were in my chat, but I remember the very first experience I got with you. You were playing Portal 2, Portal 2 with Careless Rack.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Robbie Lieu were in chat. I
love her. She's so great.
Rex goes, check them out, but he called us cheaters instead of I forgot what it was. And you just forced, like, tell us how you really feel. And it's just from there, it's like, this guy, once something happens, he'll just pick it up and take off with it and just make it so much better.
This might make me a bad guy. I absolutely love just shoving somebody out on a ledge just far enough that I can still pull them back. But watching Rex kind of flounder after I kept saying, like, man, I think he just called you a cheater, which I can't even remember what it was. It might have actually tied back into the check mark for being a partner.
I think it was
because Rex had, I think to this day, one of my all-time favorite jokes, because whenever the check marks were released on Twitch, it was kind of a big deal. Like, everybody was like, oh, everybody's kind of just like waving their dicks around. And I'm paraphrasing there. And and Rex goes, oh man, I love the check marks. It makes it easier to see who to suck up to. Which is totally just, that's Rex's humor. He doesn't 100% believe that, but that was so funny to me.
Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of people see that and think, hey, I've got to be nice. Like, no, just treat us like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a complete dick.
Don't
be nice to me. Also, I found that tweet.
Okay, go ahead. Read it.
It was you saying 1-1-1 #still. So 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Right.
And then I go, actually, still is 90% iron and carbon. The other is magnesium, chromium, or nickel for hardened ability. So the ratio would actually be about 45-45-10. God, you suck at maths. Then you respond with, no shit post I make will top this, god damn it.
And just because again, I know the people that probably listen to this podcast are pretty familiar with me and my unreasonable love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But to set the stage, the Steelers are a team that are like perennial contenders for the Super Bowl. And they started off the season tying the Cleveland Browns. And I make note of this because even if you don't watch football, you know who the Cleveland Browns are. I'm assuming you know who the Cleveland Browns are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they could not beat the Cleveland Browns. And then they lost. And then they finally won a game. So it was just like, I was so happy that the Steelers were just recording their first win. And then here you come chopping me at the legs. Oh, man. I want to kind of segue because again, I'm kind of basing this little podcast on as a way to point to people why we kind of like pick on each other so much again, because it's a confidence of our friendship. But do you remember what started it all? Our back and forth bickering?
I can't say I do.
No,
because
I do.
Okay.
So, again, this was early on when we just first met, and I think I was close enough to not be so nervous because I was getting familiar. I would consider us friends at that point, but I wouldn't say that I was familiar enough to say that I confidently knew you. And so it used to be that you would always stream right before I went live. Like that was just the way our schedules worked. And I think for about 2 weeks straight of your streams, I would go to my following list back again when I was still on Twitch. I would go to my following list and I would scroll down just to see who's on right before I go live. And I would look at your fucking stream and it never failed. There was a big ass image of me. And I don't know why. And again, just the chances of this are hard because you don't get to pick what the thumbnail is for your live stream on Twitch. It's auto-generated based off an image from the airing of your stream. So the chances of that happening are pretty extreme. And so finally I hop in there and I'm like, all right, what the fuck, dude? I have seen myself in your thumbnail a million times. What's going on? And I walk in there and you have me, you have Rose Rainblood, and you have Heather Hearts. And you're just describing our profile pictures for some reason. And again, they are both just amazingly, beautiful people. And then you have my ugly ass there. And you are critiquing me and you go, and this is back before, like, I will say this now. This is again, 3 whiskeys in and 3 years of confidence. I'm a lot better at taking selfies now than I was back then. And so I see the picture you have. I'm not a fan of it. And you go, it's not that bad of a picture. You don't have eyebrows, but that's really the only thing that I got. And I'm talking a lot, but I just want to hammer this point on real quick. I immediately, this is right before going live. I texted 2 of my local, like, people I know, like, face-to-face friends. And I go, I love streaming. I have given so much time to it, but I could have gone my entire life not knowing that I don't have eyebrows until fucking GamerSmack pointed it out. And both of them replied, come on, it's not that bad. And to which I both sent them a picture of my eyebrows. The first one says, well, who needs eyebrows anyway? And then the second one says, I thought that's why you were so aerodynamic.
I will admit, when I said that, I was like, yes, got him. But then at the same time, I was like, did I just take that a bit too far? Like, did I just, okay, this, because we were at that stage where we don't know where that line is.
Right.
We don't know, are they sensitive to certain subjects? Do they know I'm joking? So part of me is like, do I apologize? Like, no, I've said it.
Stand your ground.
I can't go back. It won't be as funny if I turn around and just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's like, just no. But then I think you started with the cookie thing. So therefore that was... You started that, so I'm like, I have to get you back. And I think that was my way to make it even.
So wait, the cookies came first?
I believe so, because I was talking about it and then I said it, and then you're like, wait, stop the stream, stop everything. Say that again. I'm like, what? You're like, say it. I'm like, I'm never saying it again. So now every time I say that word, I subconsciously just so it's not a little cookie, it's just cookies. Just straight into the door.
So we have both affected each other in our daily lives. Every time I look in a mirror, that's the first thing I notice now, and I think of GamerSmack millions of miles away in a different fucking time zone.
I mean, it's better than me pointing it out than someone else.
That's true. I mean, I would rather no one point it out. But again, I want to, because I don't think you did your story justice. Because I want to like get a good isolated audio of this.
Do we have to go down?
We have to go down this road.
Okay.
You've been listening to GamerSmack, a wonderful streamer on twitch.tv/GamerSmack. He's got this regal voice, a booming voice, a very commanding voice. But the moment that he says cookies, he is reduced to a child, and it makes me so happy. Can I please, for the record, I will never ever ask you to say this word again. Can you say cookies?
The thing is, though, I can't help but think of cookie. No, cookies. It was something like cookies. Yeah, it was speech like, oh, I was going shopping. I picked up some milk and that, and cookies. And it's just a whole different tone.
Well, to be fair, I would be really excited about cookies too. I don't blame you, but I do mock you.
Just ever since you pointed that out, I've listened to my voice and see if there's a change in tone in any word I, speak. And if I pick myself up on saying it or a tone change, I will practice to say that word without a tone change.
Are you
okay?
Are you confident enough to let me know what other words you've been tone changing?
I don't remember any because it was pretty much the day after that stream. I pretty much just started speaking to myself, saying weird words, any word I could think of. Went to, catalogs, going through, saying saying words. I'm like, okay, but just anything that, pretty much something that would make my mouth water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, because I really have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, cookies are really, sweet. Yes. And then it's like, just straight up no. Just won't have that repeat. Oh.
I'm glad we're getting this on the record. But no, because like I said, I talked about the first time that you were in my chat. Like I remember that vividly, the whole Portal 2 night. The earliest that I can remember being in your stream was when you were playing Dark Souls. I don't know which one, but it's whichever one that there's this really high point and you jump down really far and you didn't know what to do. And you're like, well, fuck it, I'll just jump. And you jumped and you're like, oh, it's not that scary. And then like 2 seconds later, a giant boss came out and you're like, oh, I liked it better when it was quiet.
That's Dark Souls 3. I remember that was the Demon Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this giant ledge and you look down and you're like, oh, I'm going to die. And I said, oop, how am I going to live? I land, I look up, see my surroundings, and I just go, it's quiet.
Mm-hmm. We have this clipped.
About half a second after I said that, you just hear this scream. And it's just, what was that? Just from pure silence to all of a sudden, this creature yelling at me. I'm like, I regret coming down here.
Good times, man. And then I think another time that I remember in your stream was when I think we were a lot more comfortable at this point because you were playing Diddy Kong Racing, which you go ahead and give people like a little bit of context with you in that game.
I used to speedrun Diddy Kong Racing. The very first time I played as Pipsy, which if you don't know, Pipsy is the slowest character, best handling but slowest. And I got a decent time, and then the speedrunners of that game came in as like, you should use TT, the fastest character. Did that, got into it, and actually started learning it really well.
I was drinking water. I'm sorry. I thought that was going to go longer.
You drinking water like time to stop.
No. Okay. So yeah. So that's your relationship with Diddy Kong. And how long would you say that happened prior to knowing me?
I'd say 3 months, 3-4
Oh wow.
months.
Okay, then that's not that bad. So that actually makes this story even better. So I again, we were just getting to the point where we're comfortable at being friends. He was streaming Diddy Kong Racing, and I was just trying to make conversation. And I said, "Oh yeah, I love this game, but I can never get past the Triceratops." And Smack, being the boisterous son of a bitch that he is, says, "I'll show you how easy it is. Watch." And he tried for like, what is it, 30 minutes to get like the fastest time possible, and he just could not do it. And then when he finally did it, I think I even took a break from your stream, went and did something else, and came back, and you were like, "There, I did it."
I remember the very first, like, this is how you do it. The very first corner up on the hill, I fell off and forced a DQ. I was like, of course, one time I speak of like, I'll show you. I just screw it all up. That's the very first time I've fallen off that ledge. Even playing it as a kid, never fell off that ledge. But the one time, like, Trey, I'll show you how it's done. I just entirely screw it all up.
Our friendship really seems to be based off of showing up the other.
How else do you get better?
You know, normally it's iron sharpens iron, but we really are just styrofoam chipping at the other styrofoam. I don't think either one of us are getting better. We're just getting worse.
We just try and impress each other by failing, and we both understand. It's like, I know, I've been there as well. Yes.
Well, I mean, the last time that you and I multi-streamed, it was after I had moved to Mixer, and so I was on Mixer and you were on Twitch, and we played, I want to say Dead by Daylight, but that's not true. What's it called? Dying Light. Yeah, Dying Light. And so leading up to this, we were talking this out because it kind of got floated that we should play it, and we did. And the night before, I said, "Yeah, we're gonna play on normal just because I want things to go smooth. I want to be able to just have a fun stream where it's our personalities that are driving the content and not anything else." And I think you called me a chicken. Some variation of just basically saying that I was afraid to do it on any other harder difficulty. And I said, "Oh yeah, well then let's do it on hard." And then you go, "Yeah, well let's do it on ultra hard," or whatever the hardest difficulty is. And I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." And you were like, "Wait, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." And you go, "I don't think we get torches on that difficulty," which, me being an American, I was so disappointed to find out that you call flashlights torches. Just a little side note there. And so we agreed to it, and we ended up doing that stream, and that stream was bullshit.
Stream, it was just, hey, we need to get to point, B, and it's like, okay, let's run over there. And it's like, oh, there's a zombie in the way. Instead of spending, 5-10 seconds hacking away at it, it was about 10 minutes just going at that one zombie. It's like, let's run away. There's no point trying to kill it.
That was our biggest, because I'm still of the mindset that if we did a hard game, we would be fine. I think despite our bickering, we work really well together. But it was like, I'm not having fun with the sponges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best moment of that was, because I was warning you, I don't like that game because at night, there's that enemy that just chases you, and you can't really do much early game other than run for your life.
Right.
And so you're like, oh, it can't be that scary. You would pretty much, calling me a wuss. Because
I gotta return the favor.
Yeah, I call you a wuss. Oh, you playing on normal? And you call me a wuss for being scared.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to that part. You don't know what's going on. I'm yelling at you to run. And you're like, what? You turn the corner. You see what I'm running from, and we just run. We're just yelling. The rule was, if one of us goes down, we're not turning around to save the other. Just run.
For the record, I don't think that was a rule. I think that was your rule. I would have gone back for you.
I remember you got to the safe spot and I got stuck. I'm like, Trey, help me, just panicking. And you're like, nope. Like, Trey. It's like, I felt like it was a Lion King. I'm climbing this mountain, like, save me. You just say, like, long live. They just throw me right off.
Long live the king.
I just felt so betrayed, like, just having this giant thing chasing me. And you're just like, you'll be fine.
So, Smack, GamerSmack, I want to reveal this to you now that we are being recorded, and this is for everybody to hear. Do you remember a time when, because for those who don't know, again, I am on Mixer. I'm a Mixer streamer. On Mixer, they have a thing called a Mixer board where you can do things and create custom buttons. So for me, I have a button called the Yurt button, which if you click it, it plays a randomized game over sound effect from various games. And for the longest time, anytime GamerSmack clicked it, I had what I would describe as a sixth sense of knowing it was you. Smack, I come to you an honest man, and I want to reveal the reason that I knew it was you is because I have a bot that would show me who was in the list of chat. And so I would just put two and two together that whenever your name showed up in chat and the Yurt button went off, that's how I knew it was you. And it was early enough in the switch to Mixer that there wasn't really a lot of people there yet. So it wasn't that long of a list to scour through. And there was like almost kind of like an immediate drop off where I was kind of not guessing it correctly when you were coming in with the Yurt button. And that was because when things started to pick up for me and the list was too long.
I feel so disappointed with me. I'm like, I must be the only person that presses this randomly, like just out of nowhere. Because normally people press it when you die in the game or you may just screw up or something. And then here I am just pressing randomly in the middle, nothing could happen. And you're like, I get a feeling that's GamerSmack. I'm like, he knows. And then to find out this whole time, it was a lie.
Our friendship is not as bold as we thought.
I don't know if we can recover from this.
Oh, come on. There's a lot of things we've done to each other. Well, come on. I mean, one of the greatest, I think, comebacks that I've ever had is you were streaming and I had to go stream. So I just said, all right, dude, I'm out for the night. Have a good one. I'll see you around. And you ended up coming into my stream and I asked you how it went. And you're like, surprisingly, it got a lot better when you left. To which I replied, yeah, surprisingly, I had a lot more fun when I left. That was, I think, I feel bad about that.
I think that's what caused the Steelers, me coming back with, iron and coal, because I'm like, how am I going to top that?
Mm-hmm.
I throw an insult, you just turn it right back. I'm like, I can't just let him have that and leave it there. And I think I spent the entire week just trying to think of a way to get you back to make it even again. And then you wrote that one tweet about Steelers. I'm like, this is it. Because a friend of mine, he tweeted something about, oh, hey, works has become, slow, so he'll be able to be around a lot more. And he used the speed of a snail reference. And I got very technical. Well, technically a snail travels this much. It doesn't, it leaps this much. So in a day it would travel, and it was a lot further than I thought. It was like over a few kilometers in a day. It's like, for a snail, that's damn. I get technical when I have to. I don't know. It's like I have to get technical just to prove a point, and I don't know what that point is.
Mm-hmm. Damn. We have a good friendship. I want to ask this, because I'm always vain. How long were you on Twitch before you knew me?
What year is it? 2019.
Right. We met...
Not long enough. Not long enough. I need more time.
You needed a head start to deal with my bullshit.
I think we met, 2-3 years ago, give or take.
It's about 2 years ago. Have I gotten the golden crown yet on your sub badge?
You should be, in the next month or two.
Because I subbed to you, pretty early on of knowing you.
I think I was on maybe 4 to 5 years before we met.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of on-off, majority off, everyone starts off, see what it's like, see if this is for us, is this for me? And at first, but I was more invested as a viewer. So I was like, I have, no one I know is live, so I'll just go live. And I do it and go on.
Who was the first person you watched on Twitch? I don't think I know this.
The very first person, the person that introduced me to Twitch was a friend of mine. Her name's Abigail. Gabby. She's an artist, was an artist on YouTube. And she posted a video saying, hey, I'm streaming now on Twitch. I was like, okay, what the hell is this? And this was really like within the first month of Twitch being a thing. I was like, okay, what's this website? And oh, cool, I get to watch this person and interact with them live. And back then, the delay was pretty much next to none. So it's
kind of like Mixer today.
Was live. Yes, perfect. I forgot where I was going with it.
No, you're good. I asked you who the first person you watched was, and
then from that, it's like, oh, cool. I get to interact with people live. I get to watch them, what they're doing right this very second. Talk to them and have a conversation. And then they didn't stream for long. I think maybe 1 or 2 hours. Okay, let's see what this website actually is. And that's where I met Lethal Frag.
Oh, you know Lethal Frag?
Yeah, I've known him for, I think he was on day 60 or day 50, around 50, 60 mark of his 2-year live stream challenge.
I didn't know that. That's fucking cool.
And after watching him, I got the idea, okay, so Twitch is, you are playing a game, you have people communicating with you, and just from that, I was like, I want to do this. The idea of being able to play a game and just have people chat with. I didn't know you could make money on this website. I didn't know I just knew it was play a game, you have people talk to. That's all I knew, and I wanted it.
Those early days, because I mean, you started way before I did. Those early days, I don't think anybody had the notion of trying to make money from streaming, and they were just doing it pure passion.
That's what it all was about, because
Because I just to interject here, I mean, I've recently moved to Mixer, and one of the biggest questions I keep getting is like, what's it like? Can you make money? Do they have an affiliate program or something like that? And it's just like, motherfucker, just shut up.
Yeah, don't start streaming for money.
Yeah.
It will not turn out well. You'll be disappointed. Do it because you enjoy either having people to chat with, just playing games. If you're really good at a game, do it for a professional, hey, this is how you get really good at insert game title here. But for me, when I play games, it was always just me and 1 or 2 friends.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, but they're, they do their thing, so therefore I didn't always have someone around. And the idea of just having that person to chat with while playing game, I was like, I'm a very social person. I would talk anyone's ear off if they give me the day. I'll talk. And so I'm like, I'm going to do this. How old was I back then? I was really young and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
In my categories, I can't stream unless if I quit my job. I don't recommend quitting your job to stream.
Mm-hmm.
Do not. But young and stupid, it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time to stream when I'm working. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. Gonna, just stream. I'm going to have fun and, yeah. And so I did. And I had a bit of money saved, so it wasn't, die situation. And I did enjoy it, but then it came to the realization, it's like, money is running out, but I am having a lot of fun. I was like, oh no, what have I done? I could have just kept working and streaming.
I've made a terrible mistake.
And so when anyone talks about, I think about quitting my job to get into streaming, it's like, no, stream while working.
Mm-hmm.
See if this is your thing, because it's not for everyone.
Right.
Because
I just had somebody, because today is, for me, well, technically it's Sunday, but Saturday for all intents and purposes. The last time I streamed was on Thursday, and I had somebody come in and they were like, hey, how do I start a stream? And I mean, that's what I told them, is like, do you have an Xbox or PlayStation 4? And they said yes. And I said, stream from that. Find out if you like it. If you don't, you haven't spent any money. If you do, then start investing in money. But like, just start small kind of thing.
100% agree. Because a lot of people now feel like they need the best equipment to even get started.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. When I first started streaming, reminder, I'm Australian, and internet back then, pretty much non-existent, pretty much dial-up. So I was streaming Minecraft at like a 600...
I can't imagine you playing Minecraft. Continue.
It was about 600 bit rate. It was pixelated. Like if I took one step, like Minecraft alone is already a pixel game.
Mm-hmm.
Very blocks. But I just brought it to a whole new level. I just made it look like it went from 3D blocks to a 2D block. It was just very bad. Thing is though, yeah, I didn't really care that much because I was having fun. People were willing to watch me through that. It's not, once you do build up and have a community, yes, that's when you should start focusing on that quality. But at the start, don't go out, buying a green screen, lighting, the best microphone, the best webcam. Don't worry about any of that. Just focus if this is for you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the start, it's very nerve-wracking. Putting yourself out there for people to judge and comment how you speak, how you play the game, anything. It gets you shaking.
Yeah.
I remember starting stream, I'll just, 10 minutes just like, I got to press live, but it's like, but what happens if people don't like what I say or, how I speak or my accent or it's like, it's just, eventually you got to get past the nerves. I will say to find out if you like streaming, try to get past that nerve. Once that stage passes, if you still enjoy it, this is something you're going to enjoy for years to come.
Right.
But if you can't bring yourself, if you never stop getting scared or nervous or anything, it might not be for you. But once again, my opinion, people have gone, I'll do it anyway. And, people find success and, still do it.
Right. I want to go back a bit because you talked about how you watched I think you said it was Lethal Frag and you're like, oh, I want to do that. Do you remember your first regular? Like, do you remember the first time, like it was and they don't have to be still watching today. It could just be the first time you're like, holy shit, somebody is watching and they are talking to me kind of thing.
Surprisingly, one of my mods was there pretty much day one, if not, within the first week. Agent Cobalt.
Really?
Yes, he's been. Let me quickly look this up. Maths. Twitch. Who follows who? Twitch.center/follow. Agent Cobalt follows GamerSmack. He followed February the 19th, 2013.
Damn.
So he's been around nearly 6 years. Him and Lane J509, them two were one of the first ones to ever watch and become regulars. And knowing that Agent still, to this day, drops by when he can, it's just one of those... Because I've been through a lot. I've been through, I'll stop streaming for X amount of time without saying a word. I won't say, oh, guys, gonna be on a higher, I'll just vanish without a single word, goodbye, come back, they're still supporting. It's like, how? You guys are amazing.
Right.
I don't deserve you because here I'm being pretty much the worst content creator, being, instead of letting, everyone know, hey, things aren't going, things aren't good, I'm just going to take time on myself. Well, I just, bye, not say a thing. Who knows what happened to me? And yet when I return, they're like, hey, welcome back. It's like, I miss this.
That's really cool, man. I had no idea it was Agent Cobalt. Because, I still hang around in your streams every now and then. And I see them as regular today. That's really cool that 6 years later, they're still here.
One of my biggest fears when I start streaming is anyone going to find me entertaining?
Mm-hmm.
Am I, is this for me? And the fact that even Agent comes back, even if it was just Agent came back, is enough for me to turn around as like, someone finds me entertaining.
Yeah.
So it might be a very small audience that find me entertaining, but it's enough for me to just keep wanting to do this 6 years later.
See, I've been reading a marketing book lately called, well, I read this one. I'm still reading more by this author, but it was called All Marketers Are... And it said liars. All marketers are liars, but liars is crossed out and says storytellers. And the thing that book kept hammering home, like the biggest point that I took away, is that instead of trying to tackle like a large audience, like for example, streaming, say I wanted to go stream Fortnite, instead of like trying to take on a big audience like that, since that's the most popular game right now, you focus on the smallest viable audience, if that makes sense. So essentially, instead of trying to spread yourself too thin, you find what you're good at and stick to that. And like you said, even if it's a small amount of people that enjoy what you do, that's your strongest core audience, because they're going to be the ones that believe in you the most to keep talking about what you're doing moving forward. I'm assuming Agent Cobalt, likes you enough that they kind of spread the word about who you are and what you do. So yeah, I totally get that. Mm-hmm. And it's a good feeling too, like to know that no matter what you do, you have this little small chunk of people who believe in what you're doing. And that alone is motivation enough to keep doing it. I was talking to a friend recently who has started up it's not streaming, but it's kind of like an online venture of their own, who they are timid. They are kind of worried about what they're doing. And I straight up told them, listen, I'm 3 years into streaming. I should not be anywhere as confident as I am, knowing who I used to be, but not to undercut it. But the momentum of just doing it over and over and over again is surprising how far it will take you. And then to have that small audience like be there to root you on, yeah, I mean, you can go forever.
The thing is, though, when you start streaming, no one knows what they're doing. Even to this day, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Same.
But it's one of those, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but people are enjoying it. So you find, okay, people are enjoying this. It works for me. Because not everything's going to work for everyone. You got to find your own thing. So it's not knowing what we're doing, but people are enjoying it. Therefore, it's working for you. Continue it, build up off of that. Start branching off, and people, one person might start watching you because, hey, whatever reason. But then that person might talk to their friend, like, hey, this person I know streams that. That's becoming 2 people, 3, and then you get a rough idea of what you're doing without, knowing fully what you're doing. Because, once again, streaming, you're creating your own thing. There's no guide, there's no to-do list, there's no here's how to do it. It's you being an artist, putting your soul into it, doing what you love, and adding your own touch to it.
I like that. This is neat. I like this. I'm glad. Thank you again for taking the time out of whatever you were doing to come record this. This has been fun. I don't know if you know this. It's been 46 minutes.
Honestly, all I was doing was laying on my bed because I had the aircon on, escaping the heat on my iPad. I think I was talking to AJ, and then you messaged me. I was like, oh, you go, oi, or smack. I'm like, oh, here we go. Honestly, I was expecting smack and me go tap, and then I was waiting for the middle finger. I was honestly just waiting, or you telling me to shut up, or
fuck you.
Like, oh, here we go. Yeah. I was expecting, it was like, okay, here we go. I'm like, tap? Like, yes, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, here we go. And then you're like, what was your response? You go, where is it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, God. Is this a build-up? What are you doing? Oh, yeah, well, then you should go fuck yourself. It's like, oh.
I really am a dick.
Nothing. I was like, nothing. Why? Like, I was preparing. It's like, I don't want to say, I'm doing something, because I wasn't. But even if I was, like, I don't. Because if I mentioned Warframe, I know you're gonna throw a comment about that. It's like, no, just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you want to record a podcast again? I'm like, I've never done this before. And my first response was like, when and what are we talking about? Because I've always pictured podcasts, oh, we're going to talk about this, give you time to kind of prepare your thoughts and, get an idea. I was like, I'm just going to sound like a giant idiot.
Nah.
Who's just going to think of words that come out first thing.
Well, I mean, at least you've had plenty of practice to sound like an idiot. Well, no, because and if there's like people that have been listening to this podcast for ages, the origin of this podcast was called Nobody Knows What We're Doing. And I interviewed Skinny Minnie, I interviewed Careless Rex, and I interviewed another local person, Matt something. I'm drunk. The name's escaping me. And so I had reached out to you, and I told you, this is what I want to do. Here are the list of questions that I'm going to ask. That way you could prepare. And I'm going to be honest, you kind of kept giving me the runaround. And I think you told me you just didn't know what you would want to say. So I figured if I had any chance of getting you, it had to be in the moment. So I'm not going to lie. Me saying that I was 3 whiskeys in was the hook.
Then you asked in the middle of summer. And it is in the middle of summer. Once again, you ask at the worst times. Because like, oh my, it's too hot. If I have the fan on, it's going to be, background noise.
Well, my fan's on too.
Yeah, but I have my fan pointing at the microphone just so it's at me as well.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to hear that. I'm going to be overheated. I'm going to be grumpy. And honestly, at that time, I think when you ask, I was in the middle of a mental processing of figuring out, am I happy? Is this who I am? And so I didn't want to go and stream to talk about, past, because if I said something, insert thing, looking back in a year's time, I'm like, that's not me at all. I was, maybe I was, feeling down at the time, maybe, whatever reason, but it's like, that's not my real answer. So it's like, I don't want to give an answer that looking back, I'm like, that just sounds like that's sad, me talking.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll wait until, I feel I'm mentally prepared to put my voice out there. And I think at that point when I was prepared, you kind of scrapped the whole thing. I was like, okay, I'll let him do him. So, and then you started doing the Now podcast, the What It Is Now.
Just TapStream podcast. I don't know.
So it was no...
I feel, because you're a perfectionist. Is that okay to say?
It's perfectly fine, because you're not the first one to say that this week.
You're most definitely a perfectionist. And I think that's what I was going for whenever I was doing the Nobody Knows What We're Doing. Because what I would do is I would have the guest record their audio, and I would record my audio, and then I would edit them together. And that was a big old pain in the ass. So like for an hour and a half podcast, it would take me about 4 hours to edit it together and then take out all the ums and the uhs and the whatnots. And I just thought, I don't have, and I didn't think it. I know, like, I just didn't have time for it, like with everything that I was doing. So I scrapped it. And I was talking to another friend of mine who goes by the name Socket Monk. He is a streamer over on Mixer. And I was listening to him talk one day, and he was super insightful, super knowledgeable about streaming and the more business side of streaming, which is something that I severely lack. I've come far enough to say that I know I'm a good streamer. The thing that I'm lacking is the business side of it. So I was listening with all ears of what he was having to say. And I said, look, man, I got to go because I got to, take care of some errands. But do you have a podcast? Because I would listen to everything that you're saying. And he goes, no. But the bigger question is, why don't you have a podcast? And that kind of was picking at me. And I thought I molded over because it wasn't until a few months after he had said that I finally got my ass in gear and started recording. And I just finally said, look, I don't need it to be perfect, but I'm just going to kind of throw caution to the wind, embody the Nobody Knows What We're Doing, but make it less formal. So even this, I'm not going to edit this, any of the ums or dead air that we have. I'm just going to keep it as a more natural feeling, because I think that's our strength. I mean, how fucking cool is it that we're 52 minutes into this and I've been having fun. I hope you're having fun.
Is it over yet?
No, it's not over yet, but I mean, it's I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought because again, I am 3 whiskeys in. What were we talking about?
Being a perfectionist and spending a lot of time working on something.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's why I ended up scrapping it, is because it was just taking too much time. But I'm having more fun doing the non-formal side of it and just getting to shoot the shit with you, because I'm still getting the same answers out of you, except I'm just not trying to be all NPR about it.
See, going back to when I said I would spend 6 months planning, that was the perfectionist side of me. This has been brought up to me, I think, a week ago. How I spend too much time worrying and planning out for perfection. When, just say I'm going to climb Mount Everest. I'll spend 12 months, like, okay, this is going to be the best way about it. When if I just went and did it, not worry about it and figure out on the way, it took me what, a month max?
Mm-hmm.
So I spent, 11 months just worrying and planning. Try and wait for that perfect opportunity to do it. When if I just did it and like, screw it, we'll do it as we go. And so it is something I'm trying to fix, but, I am very much a perfectionist.
And I think there's a happy medium in there. I mean, because there's no better teacher than just doing. But there's nothing wrong with like trying to make sure that all the bells and whistles are polished. I admire your attention to detail. I do think you get a little distracted in the weeds sometimes, but I mean, I do admire your attention to detail.
I think it's mostly like, I don't know. I feel like it's my ambition that forces me just say I could just grab the whole thing. But the worst part is I'll spend 2 months working on something, and because, once again, perfectionist, 2 months straight, spending my time trying to get this right. And at the end of it, I'm like, it's not that good, scrap. And then that's becoming another 2 months trying to work on something.
Yeah.
So the layout I'm working on now, it's not perfect, but I'm just learning it's good, it's fine. I don't have to be perfect. It will do, and as time goes by, improving it will come naturally.
Right.
Because once again, no one goes in your stream and judges you just by your graphics and then leaves. They judge you by the content you put out. I use their sort of, their content creator. Are they going to enjoy you regardless of what you play? Some people, yes, watch you for the game only, but you leave a good good. What's the word here?
Impression.
Thank you. You leave a good impression, they're going to come back regardless what game you play, because they enjoy either your sense of humor, your personality, you're willing to tell it how it is. Just, it's never, I came back because I like your graphics. They look good. Yes, some people have over the top graphics, and that's what is eye catching. But that eventually wears off. Eventually you get used to, things popping out on screen and, woo, crazy. And it's all about the personality. So,
it's really funny because, again, going back to Seth Godin, I've also been reading a book by him called Purple Cow. And basically the premise of that is whenever you're young and say you're taking a road trip with the family and you see cows on the side of the road, it's like, oh, cool, that's amazing. I'm 8 years old. I've never seen cows before. That's so cool to look at. And then as you get older, you're like, it's just cows. But if it was a purple cow, that would be something worth talking about. So what you're mentioning about like all the fancy layouts and overlays and stuff like that, it's only awesome at first. What really separates you and differentiates you from other people is your ability to continue to innovate. And that stems from your personality versus your overlays or your panels or your stream whatever's, all the bells and whistles. So yeah, I get that. All right. We're reaching 56 minutes. I want to try and wrap this up under an hour. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, some vain, some not. Here we go. First question. Tell me, what is the biggest difference of GamerSmack of today versus GamerSmack that started streaming the very first stream?
I am no longer a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started streaming, if someone even commented anything, like, stop talking and play the game, I'd listen. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean to. Now, if someone tells me to do something, or, it's like, no, shut up, I'll do it my way. I'm more vocal with what I want. I won't, because I remember, okay, very short story.
Go for it. There's no time limit.
It was my birthday, and my computer was having issues. My graphics card was dying. I thought, okay, this is the end, because this was at the point where money was extremely tight. So it's like, I can't spend too much money. I was playing Undertale, and wonderful community. I never had an issue with it, except someone in my community donated $2,000.
Holy shit!
Get a new computer. Yeah, to get a new computer to continue. And at that time, I was just blown away. It's like, what? Why would someone throw that amount at me just to fix the computer. You know, what the hell? And I spent about 2 minutes just stunned, like, hold on, what? And then there's that one person in chat because they were here for Undertale and don't know him. You know, they weren't a regular, so like, hurry up and play the game. And me, I was like, oh, sorry, I'll just drop everything that just happened and continue playing. But while I was playing, I was just like, did that just happen? What? But now, if someone told me, you know, hurry up, play the game, I'm like, no, just I'll spend an hour. That's where the whole talking segment came from when you start watching me. I would just spend an hour or two at the very start of the stream just talking.
Mm-hmm.
Not, you know, I'll be in the game category, whatever I was playing, but I'll still talk. So, more confident and more vocal, I'd say the biggest change between those two.
All right, here's where the vain one comes in. What would you say is the biggest difference between me of today and me of the first time you met me?
You're a lot more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, you would say anything, but then if it was, you know, say, quote, too mean, you would instantly apologize. No ifs about, like, even if you know it was in good humor, good, you know, sense. It was just, you were worried how your image was. But now you're like, you found your groove. You found what your thing is, and you roll with it really well. You were very shy. Word shy is the word I want to use.
Timid?
You were, yes. You were very reserved. Now, you do have, you know, those, you know, singing when, you know, you don't know what to say, and it's like, but you have found your groove, and it works for you.
Thanks, dude. So that was the vain one. All right, final question, and we're going to wrap up on this because it's been an hour. If someone was starting streaming today, what would be the biggest advice you give to them?
Do what works for you. Don't watch other streamers and be like, oh, I want to be, you know, don't copy them. No one wants to watch a copycat. Put your own spin on things, put your own personality into it. Don't expect, you know, success straight away, because if you expect success, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be, you know, not wanting to do this. But if you enjoy this, do it. Eventually people will come. People, the same personality as you, will come and watch. And if you put a fake personality out, you're going to have people you don't enjoy because it's not who you are.
I like that, man. It's really cool. Thank you for doing this, man. This was impromptu. I did not give you any time to prepare.
Nope.
And you just hopped on and killed it. So thank you. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
So for those who may not know you, why don't you give them the GamerSmack elevator pitch?
The what?
The GamerSmack elevator. Fucking plug your stuff. Jesus Christ. There are 15 fucking people who listen to this.
You can find, I'm GamerSmack. You can find me at website.com/GamerSmack or twitch.tv/GamerSmack. Twitter, everything's just GamerSmack. Or if you want, you got the TapStream himself, you know?
I heard that guy's a douche.
Screw him. Where's the... I'm unfollowing him right now.
You should do it.
I've already done that once. I felt so bad.
Don't feel bad. All right, we're done. Seriously, thank you. For all the bickering you do, I am glad that we're your friends.
It cut out, so I'm glad we're...
No, you're just going to listen to the podcast now. That was totally my strategy. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like to it, share it, do whatever you need to do, star it, rate it. I don't know where you're listening. I'm assuming they have some kind of voting system. Anything you do does help. If you think this podcast would be entertaining to any of your friends, make sure you send it with them. There's some pretty good streaming advice in there. So, yeah, help people out, help me out. It's a great way to keep getting this podcast out there. And if you liked me personally, you can follow me at TheTapStream on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I am on all the places doing all the things, always posting bite-sized versions of the stream so that it's easier for you to digest. I have the website. If you go to thetapstream.com/podcast, you can find a comment section where you can talk about this episode there. I do check it frequently. If you go to thetapstream.com, look to the sidebar, you'll find a Discord link. We'd love to have you. You can be a part of this wonderful community. And finally, if you think you might enjoy what I do, mixer.com/TheTapStream is where you can find me streaming on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And finally, if I were to pick a single highlight for the week, I do believe the highlight of my week would probably be getting to help my mom clear out their storage and finding old family photos, and in particular finding a photo of me wearing what is very close to a Guy Fieri shirt, which is a story that I have told many times on stream. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you go to thetapstream.com/podcast. I will have it linked there. And but I want to hear from you. What's been the highlight of your week? What made you really happy? Tag me wherever you post it on social media, and make sure you use the hashtag #TheTapStreamHighlight. I will find it, and I'd appreciate it. Till next week, I love your faces. Bye-bye, everybody.